Welcome back. Well, how do you restart your life after a long-term relationship ends? Will you ever stop wondering why it happened and when you'll feel okay? And is it possible or helpful to be friends with your ex? A San Francisco investment expert and writer, brucerosen, faced all of this after his 25-year marriage ended in divorce. He describes it in his story in his book, If You Ever Need Me, I Won't Be Far Away. Brucerosen, welcome. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Susan. Nice to be here.
Okay, this is quite a book. Obviously, I did not read the whole thing. It's pretty large, but basically you described the marriage. You had a 25-year marriage to Sue.
Right.
Okay, what happened? Just tell me about the marriage and why you think
Well, the marriage was almost a marriage made in heaven, and my mother, a very, very gifted psychic and healer and tremendous woman, once gave me a tea leaf reading when I was in grad school. And I went home to where she was living in the hills of Southern California, and I asked for a tea leaf reading, and she said, to try to summarize it real briefly, she said, I'm looking into your cup and I see Valentines everywhere, Valentines and Cupids. She says, I understand, I can see that your wish in this reading here is to meet the woman that you will one day marry. She said, it's going to happen. You can't find her, she'll find you. There's no way you're going to find her. She's going to find you some way. I said, well, describe her to me. And she went on to describe this woman to me, which was this blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman. My mom thought I was a genius, and she said, this woman is just going to be will be as intelligent as you. So that was a big compliment to the woman. Well, and I said to her, at the end of the reading, I said, Mom, give me a name. What's her name? Do you see a name? And she spelled out the name in the cup, and she said, Sue, S-U-E. You see it? Well, okay, I saw the name spelled out. Now, did I believe I would absolutely, unequivocally meet a Sue and marry her one day? No,
were
but
you kind of primed though every time you met somebody named Sue? Is this the one?
I said to my mom, I said, there's a Suzanne I know, but she's dark haired.
Okay, let's jettison you ahead a little bit. We're not going to get out of the teacup. All right.
I'm going to get there.
So the marriage. How was the marriage? For 25 years, you had two sons, and you describe yourselves as really good parents, and you seem to be on the same page with parenting. Yes.
We are, but I just want to finish this real quickly. I go up to San Francisco. I come home. There's a phone call that rings. I answer the phone, and there's a long-distance call, wrong number, her name's Sue. We send pictures back and forth. I look at that photograph. I think to myself, that's the woman, no doubt, that's the woman I'm going to marry one day. And we did. And we had two children, to get to your question. We had two children. They're 26 and 23 now. They live in New York. They went to grad school. We had a very close, loving relationship, a very close family.
So what happened? You got divorced.
What happened was, I think over time, and John Gray talks about this in his interview. I think over time we fell into roles. I think some of the romance was lost. I think some of the intimacy was lost. I became the breadwinner, and as he talked about that issue. Sue became the mother. I think intimacy and was lost. Love was never lost. Love was never lost. You actually
talk about in the very beginning. You talk about having an affair.
Yeah.
Did you end the relationship, or did she end it because of that?
What happened was I went to New York to buy a piano for my son. He was graduating. I went to Steinway in Midtown New York, and I meet this woman who was incredibly charismatic. She was selling pianos. She was a concert pianist in her younger days, and there was this incredible chemistry that I could not resist. She could not resist. We had tickets. I had tickets to go to a play that night. Another friend was going to go, had to cancel at the last minute. I asked her if she wanted to go. She went. It created a long distance, mainly telephone, incredibly chemical reaction relationship, and we shared so much. And I think what the problem with what happened in my relationship with Sue is that she found out that I was having this relationship, and it wasn't so much sexual as it was intimate and emotional. And the fact that I was sharing these deep feelings with another woman, I think, just made her, just really drove her crazy.
Okay, all right. Well, there's more about that certainly in the book. Let's get to the part where you think you should be friends with Sue. Now, was that because you had children together?
I think that Sue and I will always be friends. We love each other. I think there's a deep spiritual soul connection, if you will. And I think that we understand what brought us together. And what brought us together isn't something that you can just absolutely cut off.
But Bruce,
Yeah.
for people who, let's say, who've just gone through a divorce,
Yeah.
they're probably sitting there going, I could never be friends with my ex. What he put me through, what she put me through, or she took me to the bank, or he took me, whatever.
I think there's some people that have enmity, that are not friends, that divorce because they're not friends, and they may never be friends, although there are things they can do together and to try to bring themselves and their families close. I think it's very important for a family to be close together.
Question. If you hadn't had children,
Yeah.
if you were a couple that had never had kids, would you have wanted to be friends with her and made the effort to work at that?
Absolutely.
Because?
Absolutely, because I respect her. I love the person that she is. I recognize what brought us together in the first place. We came together before we had kids. You know, I mean, I recognize the very special person, the wise person, the friend that she is. And the fact that we're not married anymore, the fact that there's no marriage contract does not take away the friendship.
Okay, we're going to thank you for being here. I'm sorry we're out of time. The book is called If You Ever Need Me, I Won't Be Far Away. And you can meet Bruce in person for his talk on how to find joy in life despite the obstacles, Wednesday, February 13th at 5:15 p.m. For more information and tickets, please call the number and visit the website on your screen.